For the sake of the fact that I'm recording this on 420, I'm gonna give you guys this fact. Marijuana was initially made illegal in 1937 by a man who testified the drug made white women want to be with black men. Well, they still want to be the black men right now. But anyways, we've got a podcast to do. Let's hit it.
Welcome back to Battle of the Sexes.
Welcome to Break Time on Westside, your number one break time podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is Sir Denver B. The show is Battle of the Sexes. And as usual with Battle of the Sexes, I randomly pick a topic that might be related to your lives, I don't know. And I dissect it, and at some point I'll probably throw shade on women because, well, that's just who I am. Now, before I even get to the main bit of the topic, before I get to the meat of all of this, I have a problem with people and WhatsApp. I have a major problem with people and WhatsApp. Now, for those of you all that don't know much about WhatsApp or Kenyans, I will tell you this. Most Kenyans that own a smartphone use WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp has pretty much taken over random texting. So the normal text message nowadays, it's just WhatsApp. People don't do it no more. And that's all fine and dandy, but it has given rise to a fuck ton of WhatsApp groups. Now, say what you want about WhatsApp groups. Some are good, some are bad, some are necessary, some are just pointless. And some have done more hate mongering than others. But I think people need to learn some etiquette online. Because honestly, WhatsApp groups tend to be harbors, they tend to be good share points for a lot of information, of which when it comes to stuff like news, like 70 to 90% of it is baseless, mostly negative, and quite heavy on hate mongering in a sense, or it's a very biased view using really poorly researched facts and shit, and it's just unverified bullshit. Super unverified bullshit. And when it's not news, when it's people just posting up videos, you'll find that there's the people that can post up the porn, of which it is good and bad for some people. I don't know, it totally depends on the person. But there's people that'll post up shit like graphic images, stuff that you probably shouldn't even be looking at as a regular human being. And people are so okay with it. People don't even give a warning, and that shit is annoying. And I'm complaining about this because like past 2-3 mornings, like I get up, I'm checking my phone and shit, and then I stumble across some graphic ass video and no one said anything about it. No one's given a warning. No one said that, this might be a gory video, so not everyone should probably watch it. Shit like that. No one said shit. And then I end up looking at the worst shit on the internet. And it's not the first time that this shit's happened. Especially when it comes to some of the older folk who, I'm not going to say recently got WhatsApp, but some of the older folk that have a lot of these groups. Take for example my parents. My mom, when she joined WhatsApp, there were times when she'd show me some of the videos that people from her groups in campus had shared, and from church and so on, that friends would even share and shit. And some of that shit was either hate mongering in and of itself, or it was just pure negativity. Or at times you'll find that people will just share very, very gory shit. Like people will share super graphic information that is in video or image form that isn't supposed to be online. Luckily nowadays we have more data protection laws which actually allow that you're not supposed to be posting a lot of graphic information, especially if it's news, but it doesn't cover all of it. So I'd end up being shown a video of a supposed person who I don't know was in, I don't know what country, call it Iran, Iraq, was caught with a Bible and was busy being lynched for, I don't know, being Christian and shit. And people post this shit up and they're like, oh my goodness, it's so bad. And it's a video of a nigga being lynched. Why the fuck are you showing me this? At some point I actually had to act like a parent and tell my mother, stop looking at it. Stop watching this shit because this graphic information is doing worse for you than you might actually think. Anyways, luckily things have gotten a bit better, and for the most part stuff isn't as gory, but there's people that still share that shit. So you know what? I'm gonna give you guys a bit of etiquette. So rule number 1, if you're not on a religious group, I don't see why you're posting up some religious content. Not in a bad way, but Christians are some of the biggest perpetrators of this shit. And it's honestly very, very off-putting. And I'm saying this on behalf of people of other religions, atheists included. And my biggest issue is a lot of Christians have this thing where it's like they'll sort of post up the prayer of the day or some shit or some lesson or something that relates to the Bible. And people forget that not everyone is a Christian. Yes, Christianity is the largest religious faction that has existed on planet Earth. It has the highest number of followers, but it doesn't mean that everyone is a Christian. So when you're posting up Christian content and it's a group that has Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs and so on, as well as atheists, it becomes very annoying. This is part of the reason why the biggest religious fight that happens right now is between Christians and atheists. Yes, people have beef with Muslims and so on, and theirs is mostly when it comes to public media and shit, because they're always being called terrorists because of one reason or another. But when it comes down to like online battles back and forth, it's mostly Christians and atheists, and sometimes it's entertaining and sometimes it's just sad. Anyways, next rule: if you're posting up any graphic information upon, inform people. Please, like honestly, inform people. It'll work to everyone's advantage, because there's some people who, if watch someone being lynched, they might not sleep well that night, regardless of whether they watched it for 2 seconds or 2 minutes. So you should probably inform people. Tell people that this is graphic information, view at your own discretion. So it's not for everyone. That way, at least we can live a little more conducively in whatever WhatsApp groups we're in. And final tip: verify your information. Please, just verify your shit. I am tired of waking up to fake news and someone being lynched or someone's body parts as a picture. Please, tired of that shit. Anyways, we should probably move on to the main topic of today. Now, about a month ago, about 4-5 weeks ago, there was this app that sort of blew up on a lot of Nairobi social media. It's called Kubul, Kubool. Now, just so anyone knows, they have not endorsed Breaktime on Westside. They have not sponsored it. We have not been in touch. But I figured I might as well just talk about it because it relates to what I'm talking about today. So people sort of had this whole Kubul hype that was going around, whereby what happens on the app is you join the app, you sign in, you get a user-generated link which you can post up on all your socials, and once people click on that link, they can go and comment about you. They can say stuff they wanted to tell you, sort of the same way Instagram and I think just recently Snapchat polls have sort of been. You can say shit. But now the kicker is, unlike most of the other social media polls, this one has a person that's given the feedback as anonymous. So you won't know who it is that's posted up shit, but it'll be available. And I don't know, people really caught into the hype. I don't know, because maybe for some reason people thought the world is ending because the pandemic had already hit Kenya or some shit. Or maybe people just had time because self-isolation had kicked in and everyone had been told, you know what, not unless if you really need to be in the office, most of y'all should stay home. Anyway, so it really did pick up quite a bit. And the biggest pointer was when people were anonymous, people said a lot. People said their deepest, darkest desires. People expressed exactly how they felt, because there is a lot of freedom with anonymity, because that's just how it is. And that was when a lot of people now started realizing how a lot of people felt about them. So take, for example, a friend of mine, she decided to take a bunch of screenshots and post them up from a lot of the comments that people had posted up about her on Kubul. Now, a lot of them were nice. Some were nice, some were compliments, some were just okay, some were just regular comments. Then there was the very negative, very insultive shit that was there, of which there was one particular one where the person who commented had spoken a lot of shit about her and said that she's the worst bitch in the world, blah blah blah. She ruined such and such's life, and she won't be forgiven for that shit, and that person hopes that she dies. I think she probably had the best answer, and at some point I can't remember the entire list of things that she said there, but her final part of the comment was, and by the way, I know exactly who you are. I think if most people were exposed to that shit, now that's when you'd hear people busy saying, well, you know what, it's fine, I'm not even hiding from that shit. If she has beef with me, it's okay, I'm not hiding. Let's be honest, you actually are, or at least you were. It's just that you've been outed and you're not claiming responsibility for the bullshit that you've done. That's just what it is. And it does point out to a lot of dishonesty on this planet. People of our generation, men and women, are just very shit when it comes to honesty. Honesty is almost looked at as a task that is reserved for the weak. For some reason, I don't know. It's like people think that it's a weak trait to have, and yet it's one of the more important traits that actually shows loyalty. But you find that people are so dishonest. People don't want to say the truth. People don't want to be straightforward with you, and they feed you lies because, I don't know, for some reason it's like they don't want to hurt you, or they don't want you to know something, or some people are just yes men. As a guy, I am telling you this for a fact. Being a yes man is an ultimate turnoff, and that's not just to women. And this is to men as well. If you're a homie of mine and you're a yes man, by the way, I don't want to be friends. I don't like being friends with a yes man, because if you're a yes man, you'll just tell me shit to make me happy. And I'm not trying to be happy a lot of these times. Of course, I'm trying to be happy and shit, but I'd rather you tell me something as harsh as it can be, and I can grow from it. Rather you be honest with me and I grow with the information you've given me, rather than you feed me some bullshit and I continue doing the same thing, be it wrong or right. That's just how honesty works. And it also goes into especially content creators and people that are trying to bring something out to the world. Usually we like to push it to friends and family, and the worst part about it is they tell us that we're good, even when we're not. You'll find a family member, you'll find a family friend, you'll find just a regular friend, even one of your closest friends will listen to your tracks, they'll pretty much critique your cooking, and they'll talk about it in such a nice light. They'll be like, oh, you know, you sound so good, or oh, I like the vibes that you're putting out with this new track, oh, I don't see why people are sleeping on you, oh, your food is real good. And the truth of the matter is the exact opposite. I might sound like shit on my podcast, but if you don't tell me, how the hell do you expect me to grow? Like, that's just straight facts. When it comes to music, if you don't tell me that my bars are shit, if you don't tell me that you don't like the kind of language I use, if you don't open up and give me the real facts about how it is that I have performed based on how you feel, how will I know that I'm doing something wrong or right? Like, that's just the normalcy of it. If you've eaten my food, if it's too salty, tell me it's too salty. Probably there's another piece of the meal that's supposed to offset that salt completely. I'm not much of a person of culinary arts, but I'm sure they probably do some shit like that. It goes even beyond that, because people are just straight up dishonest about each other. And I don't know, for some reason, it's like everyone is being dishonest now, because it's like everyone wants a leg up. If I'm dishonest, I can get a leg up. And the thing is, it won't help you. And this is something that I see a lot with girls. Women, the female species, for some reason, and I'm not saying that it's all of you, but it's a good number of you. Some of you. Hell, could be most of you, but I'm just gonna say some. Y'all don't want each other to succeed. You don't want your friend to wear that really, really nice dress that'll make everything accentuated. That'll make the booty pop, that'll make the tits show. You don't want your friend to look so good that she attracts the hottest nigga in the club, maybe when you're going out. So y'all would rather make her wear the substandard dress, the dress that probably makes her look funny in a sense, and then lie to her that, yo, nah, you look real good. Y'all will probably help her do her makeup, and y'all will make sure that shit won't be as good, probably because you don't want her to look as fabulous. And this is something that women have gotten a lot of heat for, because a lot of times people talk about how women don't support each other, the biggest enemy of women is women. And yes, that is true. And this is the part where I say, even men do the same shit. Of course, we don't do dresses or makeup, but we tend to ruin each other's chances. Sometimes your biggest cock block is your own homie. And this can be with a babe, this can be with getting a deal. People are just cock blocks of each other because they don't want the other person to succeed, because, I don't know, maybe because they personally aren't succeeding. And I've also noticed this shit, and it cuts across the board. It's men, it's women. Actually, now that I mentioned that, story time. When I was in high school, right at the end, I sort of had a crush on this girl, and I was trying to get her by sort of appealing to her closest friend, sort of like her best friend, because she had traveled in, she was from the UK, and she was a really, really nice, really pretty girl, and I really wanted her. Anyway, so I tried to get the friend to sort of link me up, sort of help us get some alone time and shit, and it was so hard and I wasn't able to do it. Now, eventually, at some point, just before I finished, me and her sort of got a chance and we started seeing how far the whole relation would go. I think one of my first situationships. And soon after I got in, I actually realized that this shorty had been crushing on me for the longest time. Me and her had been crushing on each other for such a long time. And the pal had known this. The pal had known the both of us had crushes on each other, but she never did shit about it. She'd always played as if the other person probably doesn't feel shit or isn't really into them. And I never really got why. I don't know, maybe she had wanted a chance. Maybe she just didn't want me to get some. But this is something that had happened. This is something that I was finding out, but after the fact. Funny thing is, I actually found out that she did the same exact thing nearly a year later. And at some point, you want to ask people why it is that you're being dishonest, that you're holding someone back just because you're not getting it. And hell, you don't have to step on someone's back to get on top. Just the same way, if you celebrate someone's success, if you help someone succeed, it doesn't mean that you're any worse of a person. And quite honestly, I think people should start being a hell of a lot more honest. Because if we're being dishonest, then we'll never really grow as a people. And if we don't grow as a people, hell, we're going down as probably the most fucked up generation as is, if we're going to continue doing that. So, to be quite honest, we should probably start being a hell of a lot more honest with each other. If you are cheating on your girlfriend probably because she's not treating you some type of way, then just be straight and tell them. Hell, you don't need to be with someone to sort of ascertain that you're some sort of person in society. I don't think it's worth that. Honesty is probably one of the most sought after things ever, because nowadays it's so hard to find someone who can be loyal to you, but just loyal to you. So honestly, it becomes hard, which is why I'm gonna be honest. If you give me some content to listen to, or you're pushing some content to me and you expect some sort of feedback, I will give you feedback. I will give you my honest feedback. Anyone who's shared a song with me, a poem, knows that for a fact. If you're one of my homies and you have a girlfriend and you've been cheating on that girl constantly, if she chooses to cheat on you with me, by all means, I'm not gonna stop her. Hell, I might even hit on her as well, because shit, you clearly don't want your girlfriend, or clearly you don't really mind cheating. So if you don't mind cheating, I think she probably deserves the same exact rules. Hell, call me an unloyal friend, but at least I'm being honest about the fact that if you're gonna cheat on your girlfriend, then you probably don't deserve her. And hell, she might be fine. She might have a booty, and I might want both. Anyways, that being said, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think honesty is something that is in rare supply right now? Or do you think I'm just playing with myself and I need better friends? The IG to hit us up is at Breaktime on Westside. The Twitter handle to hit me up on is at Bagaka. The D, the B, and the D are capital. I will see you guys later.